Hello everyone, this is Sanjay Parya and today I'll tell you about how to get started with hardware hackathon. So if you are first entering hardware hackathon, the first thing you need to realize is apart from the software part, the what's different here is there is some initial investment you have to make to get some results. So in case of software hackathons, what you do is you have your laptop and you can write some code on it, and basically you are only giving efforts there and there is no investment in case of any hardware purchase. So in case of hardware hackathons, there are some things that you need to have. First thing is you need to have some tools which you will be using to build your project, and there are also the components that you will be using to build this project. So these are the two types of investment you will be doing on a hardware hackathon. For the tools part, those are mostly one-time investment. So if you purchase it, then you can use it again and again. In case of components, they may be reusable, they may not be, but it depends on the project you are building. So for every project, the component requirements will be different, and you have to invest on it. If you are already having those components, it is great. So based on that, you have to take a decision whether it is feasible to build this project or not. So when getting started with hardware hackathon, the another thing is you have to keep in mind the amount of time you are giving into it, because normally building some hardware takes time, and you have to have these components also in hand. Suppose you have some vendor which is giving those components nearby at a short time, then it is okay to build those projects. But if you are somewhere where the shipment of the components takes significant amount of time, then it is a bad idea to continue with that project, or you can change the requirements of your project to meet those. So let's get started with the tools part. So mostly in tools part, like apart from the normal tools you will require, you can check other online videos to guides to start working with hardware. But mostly I would recommend you have a multimeter, because you will be needing this to debug your circuit. And other things may include you have a breadboard where you can test your circuit building prototype, and you can also have some things like standard value resistors and capacitors and all that. So this is it. Okay, so let's move on to the component side. In component side, one of the most important thing that you will be using in most of the projects that you build is a microcontroller. So microcontrollers are available in lots of shapes and form factors. So most popular and beginner friendly microcontroller you would have heard of is an Arduino. So Arduino, there are lots of varieties of this board, and this is Arduino Uno. I would recommend you start with this, and there are also lots of other boards, like for example this is Arduino Nano, and you can plug it into your breadboard easily. So these are like this. There are very much other form factors available also. So for example, we also have Arduino Du. So if you need a lots of pin, there is Arduino Mega, and Arduino Du has more capable in terms of computing power. So there are lots of things, but when you get started, it is a good idea to start with beginner friendly options like Arduino Uno. And I would suggest you purchase a Arduino starter kit or beginner kit, because it comes with all the accessories you need. So another type of things that you would find that are available is already attached devices along with Arduino. So for example, this is Groove beginner kit, and it comes with a Arduino in center, and there are lots of sensors, like this is humidity, temperature sensors, and there is LCDs, and there potentiometers, and there are these sensors built in, and you can upload your program using a micro USB cable attached to your computer, and you can right away get started without joining any wires. So if you purchase something like this, then your efforts you put in hardware tooling like for connection and all reduces. So this is also a beginner friendly option. And other things that you will be needing is mostly sensors, modules, and like this, depending on your project. For example, if your device that you're building uses SIM card to SMS or SIM card for internet use, so you can use something like GSM module. So this is a GSM module, and you can plug your SIM card in, and this can interface with a microcontroller like I have shown Arduino, and you can send SMS or you can access internet through it. So that is something. And there are other things also. So if you are doing IoT and you need something more powerful, like if you want to do something with webcam and other things, then there are other alternatives also. There is something called Raspberry Pi. So you have heard of this. This is also comes in different form factors. There is Pi Zero, which is very small and cheap, and you can also go with that. This is Raspberry Pi 3, and so this has lots of things available. You can connect it with Wi-Fi or LAN. It has USB port. It is basically a small computer, and you can do all sorts of things with it. So the another thing is you can also go with other of the standard microcontroller, like there is Teensy, which is a very popular microcontroller. It is a very powerful one also. Then there is a Raspberry Pi Pico. Then there are also STM series microcontroller. If you are really into hardware, you can also go with that when you are moving out of hardware capability. So moving out from that, some other modules you may use will be accelerometer, gyroscopes, and probably GPSs. And there are also things like pulse oximeter, heart rate sensors, the communication module. For example, if you want to establish communication between 2 points, then there are also lots of options. You can use Wi-Fi, you can use Bluetooth, but if you need lots of range, you can use modules like Zigbee, or some special modules for like LoRa, or this is a special one called NRF module. So there are lots of options there. So for getting started, I would recommend you to go through these things.